Alright, today I'm going to teach you how to stitch together 4 photographs in Photoshop. We're going to stitch these 4 together, and before I start, let me give you some pointers. First off, follow the good rules of photography, get your exposure right, frame your subject correctly. Number 2, about stitching, what you want to do is you want to make sure your camera is very stationary, meaning probably you want to put it on a tripod. What works best for me is to have the camera in portrait as opposed to landscape. I don't know why, but portrait seems to work better. And then overlap your exposures by about a third. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take these 4 photographs, we're going to stitch them together, and hopefully we're going to run into a problem where I'm going to show you how to correct this manually. So what I did is I opened these 4 photos in Photoshop, and I've already color corrected them in Bridge in the raw editor. And now I'm going to go to File, Automate, and we're going to do Photomerge, and it should open up here, and we're going to tell it to do a vignette removal. We're not going to do the geometric distortion correction, that's really kind of goofy. And we're going to add all the open files, which is our 4, 103, 4, 6, and 8. There were some others in that series, but I just wanted to do 4 for time's sake. So I'm going to let Photoshop do the rest. You can do different type of perspectives, collages, repositions, and interactive layout. I let it go on auto. It just seems it's okay. So what Photoshop's going to do is it's going to find common areas of different photos and line them up. And hopefully something else you could do to help this out is you could take the pictures, 5 or 6 exposures before you put your subject in, and then use those in addition to kind of fill in some areas. But we're going to use these. I've already color corrected them, so forth and so on. So we're going to let it spin. You're going to watch and see what Photoshop does. Here, I'm going to go ahead and pause it and wait for it to come back. Okay, you can see we had 4 photos here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to close those just so we have a little more processing room for the computer. But from those 4 photos, you can see over here what Photoshop has done is that it has put in those 4 different layers with a mask. But we've only got the model in 2 separate images. It's also tried to correct for distortion. So we have the general scene from the bits and pieces, but we don't have the models that we want. And this is what I wanted. I wanted to show you what you do if Photoshop doesn't do it automatically, what you need to do to get it to correct it. So we know that if we turned everything off except the second layer, number 104, our model's not in there. We know that she's in there from the second one, but the model is actually somewhere in here. So we're going to really have to work with 2 different layers. We're going to have to take off part of this layer, which is the top layer, and turn on some of 104. So we're going to turn off part of 103 and turn on part of 104. So we're going to turn on 104 first, and we're going to try to find her. And the way you do that is with editing the layer mask. You do that by clicking the black and white area for the mask. We're going to click a brush. We're going to get a bigger brush because all we're going to do right now is we're going to try to find where that model is in here. Theoretically, she's about right here. So we're going to make sure black, or actually we're going to go with white. White reveals, black conceals. And we know she's over here. Okay? So we've got her over here, but layer 103 is in the way, so we're going to go back to that mask, and we're going to do the opposite. Black conceals. We're going to start concealing right here, and then it's just a game of, okay, make more of her appear in one and less in another. So we're going to turn off probably right around, switch back to white. We're going to reveal right up to there. So we're on the second one. We're turning on second layer. We're painting it back in. Okay, so our model's still there, but she's not showing up, so we've got to turn off more of the first layer. Okay, there she is, and we're still going to have to go in more. I'm going to zoom in she's there, but we're not really getting her, so we're going to reveal her more. There she is. And what you notice when you get in closer is that those hash marks show up behind her, and we get her. Now we have to go back and reveal more of the first one. All I'm doing is switching between black and white and the layer mask. So we're going to go in real smooth. You have to be really careful that you don't get what you just revealed. So you turn the size of your brush down, and you can get closer and closer and closer. Alright, got most of her jeans. And when it kind of goes behind that knee or that arm, that's okay. We're alright with that because we don't mind giving it a little depth. Okay, so we've got two of them in. Let's go back here. We've got two of our images in here, but we don't have our third. Okay, so 1 and 2 are good, or 103 and 104 are good, but basically 108 and 106 are not. So let's turn off 103 and 104, and let's go in. We know that we're not getting 106, so let's try to find 106. Let's try to find where the model is in that. Just a simple game of hiding, concealing. So we went back, selected the mask. We've got white reveals, black conceals. There she is, right there. And we get her, and we're almost done because she's in the other ones, and it looks like we really don't have to do much other than to reveal her. So if we turn on the other ones, so she does show up in 104. When we turned 104 on, she disappeared. So we'll go to 104, that mask, and we'll get rid of 104 where it overlays the subject. Oop, a little bit too much. A little bit too much there, so we'll make it white. And just above her head. Make sure those cracks. Now you notice that if we zoomed in here, the wall color's a little different. We can work with that a little bit. Some of that is in how much that you capture and how much the image comes in. If we go in here and we say we reveal that, or we erase that, you know, it might reveal more or less of that wall. But we have pretty much what we're going for in the basic point. This isn't on actually getting the colors correct in this one. It's just how to stitch it if things go wrong. But you can see, we'll zoom in, you'll see that when we go across, we have pretty much a consistent zoom all the way across. It's revealed, everything is where it's supposed to be, and minus, you know, this little crack here, we're doing okay. If you really wanted to correct that, what I would do is go into the burn tool, pick the size, a little bigger. These are huge, these turn up being really large, and just start burning in an area. Maybe it's that one, yeah, there it is. Just burn it in a little bit on this side of that scratch. Wall, and you get something a little more appealing. So an easy fix to color correct it. It comes up, but a whole lot easier to let Photoshop do it than to try to do it yourself.